Okay, so here's another illustration of implementation shortfall strategy, or implementation shortfall is a measure of loss, implicit and explicit costs of a transaction. So in this example, which is question 11 at the end of reading 44, talks about, in an intent to buy 1,000 shares of stock. The order was only filled for about 700 shares. So the decision was made on Monday morning to buy 1,000 shares of stock. We were only able to buy 700 shares at these two prices. And here's some extra information. You've got the closing prices, and these are the commissions we paid. The question really is, what is the implementation shortfall, and how is it broken down between delay cost, realized profit losses, missed trade opportunities, and fees? Basically, to start off, I calculated the implementation shortfall in total in dollar terms. So you can see that the benchmark profit is $50, which is the closing price at the end of the period minus the beginning price times the quantity that I was intending to purchase. So that's $50. The actual profit is essentially the closing price times the amount of shares I have on hand, which is this portion here. That's like the ending value, minus the beginning value, which is just the amount of shares I purchased times the cost, minus the commission. So that tells me that net I lost $17 on that trade. So the implementation shortfall in this case is $67, and since my beginning balance was 1,000 times $10,000, which is 1,000 times 10, then I just take each of these divided by the multiplication of the two. So the implementation shortfall in percentage terms is 67 basis points. Now, how does that break into delayed cost and realized profit losses? Delay cost occurs when you don't execute the order the same day that you planned. Well, we did buy the 600 shares on the same day that we planned, which is a Monday, so that does not have any delay cost. So that's why it's 0. This guy does have cost, which is basically it's a negative cost because the price actually went down. So it's basically the closing price for Monday. The 100 shares were purchased on Tuesday, so on Monday the price went down from $10 to $9.99, and that helped us somewhat because that was a good thing that we didn't execute that order that day. So the price went down, which resulted in about 1 basis point of negative cost. And then the second portion is realized profit losses. Now the 600 shares that we did buy, basically the difference between the benchmark and the actual trading was the price that we bought it at minus the price that was the benchmark. So as you can see, the purchase price was $10.02 and the benchmark was 10, and because of that we incurred $12 in extra cost, which is 12 basis points, which is 12 divided by 10,000. Same thing with this guy. The opening price for the closing price for the previous day was $9.99. We bought it at $10.08, 100 shares. So the difference here, the price went up, which is why we ended up paying $9 more, or 9 basis points. And obviously we didn't buy 300 shares, and if we had bought 300 shares, we would have made the difference between $10.05 and so 5 cents per share. So you can see it's just the difference of the two times 300 shares that we didn't purchase. So that was an additional loss that we incurred. And then fees, of course, just the sum of the two fees divided by 10,000, which is the initial capital that we were expecting to deploy. That's 32 basis points. The sum of all four of them is 67 basis points. And here's the number, so that matches this.